Hello there, welcome to the Season 7 SSL Prospect Draft. This is Project Saint.
This is Sock here. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. This is going to be a very exciting pool. We have 60 slots to fill for this one, but we might not get to all of them. A lot of prospects available here with the first overall pick, two new expansion teams, and one that has recently been founded, Reykjavik United, with the first overall pick, formerly known as Sydney City. The Icelandic club gets their first selection here. Saint, do you have any feelings about where they'll go with this one, what their needs are right now?
Well, in a way, not exactly. Reykjavik taking over from Sydney is a very young squad, and we saw entirely in the last season. So they could go anywhere they would like. I have an inkling they have an eye in one position, and another one is just a wild card.
That's very interesting. I do feel like that, yeah, with their kind of new roster, a lot of turnover from the previous year, and basically having to entirely rebuild themselves from the ground up, that they can kind of just go with what they feel is best player available. So something to look forward to. But then we also have the two expansion franchises, AC Ramana and Red Star Laos, Praetorian Guards, and the Southeast Asian squad. Our first foray into there in the SSL. Again, new expansion franchises, what do you think they'll try and go for with their latest picks? Because AC Romana, they only get to pick second, but thanks to Red Star Louse's trading up, their first pick will only be 10th.
Well, in a way, it's going to be a whole lot different to previous expansion rules. No expansion draft for them to pick and choose from all the players around, which I'm very sure brings so much relief for others. But it does mean that these GMs will have to think smart with how they draft and with how they pick up their players in the future as well.
I have to agree. I mean, they do already have their goalkeeper with their player manager, Joey McCarty, and it seems like we do have perhaps our very first pick.
Yes, we do. Chance of score already ringing out as Henry Andrews heading over to Reykjavik. ABH 89.
Yeah, decided to immediately start with that attacking midfielder. We look at those strengths there, great ability down the flank with quick acceleration and getting forward whenever he can. Will definitely be a solid support player in that role. Kind of more falls into a support player though, so might not end up getting more goals, but probably would still contribute on the points equivalent tally.
Well, one thing to note as an attacking mid is not always about goals. It's just how you distribute the ball. I think at least that's how I would personally see it there. And Andrews having the physicality will help him grow his other areas, some speed as well. Really key in a league as fast paced as SSL.
Yeah, I mean, it's sometimes can be all about how fast you are. And I mean, looking at Henry, his physical attributes are really where he excels. So, looking at that graph, it does seem like there's a lot of other aspects of his game that he can work on, especially that mental. So, we'll have to see how he congeals with the team heading over to Reykjavik.
Indeed, we shall. Oh, with Andrews over to honestly the land of lies. Iceland is Greenland is icy, and yeah, Iceland. When it's not winter, it tends to be green. I mean, please get it sorted. But yeah, with Henry Andrews heading over to Reykjavik, we head over to our next pick, AC Romana.
Yeah, Romana, a new expansion franchise, did have a trade earlier this morning, the freeway deal that sent them Pascal Nivier from Union Sao Paulo. They did send away him, however, on loan to CF Catalonia in exchange for picks 16 and 34. So again, just kind of rebuilding out new and seeing what they can build out with him. They will have Pascal Olivier for the future, but for now, he'll just have to remain in Division 1 with his Catalonia side. So again, something to look forward to as we already have a pick in.
Something indeed to look forward to. Praetorians, hopefully not backstabbing themselves. Actually, I can't even say that. I think this is a good pick. Glenn Smart coming over to AC Romana.
I'm very glad you didn't call it a smart pick. And here again, we have another player that is excelling in the physical attributes. You know, again, it's the acceleration, the agility, the pace. He'll be able to keep up very well to try and mitigate any forward long balls and basically shut down anything in the counter attack. Again, though, few things to work on there in that mental game, I feel, though. Probably a bit stronger than Henry Andrews. Romana basically deciding to get their anchor, get a player that they can use to act as someone who can even just spread the ball around from that defensive midfielder spot and even perhaps get forward into attack. So that will be a very solid pick for me. I like where Romano have gone with this. They've built out a very solid foundation with this one.
Indeed, and honestly, strong midfield will complement just the basis of your team going out far and wide. So having that anchor, solid work there with Glenn Smart coming over to the Praetorians. Bib, welcome over to Rome. Also, I did say a smart pick. Now I feel guilty.
Well, it's fine.
Ah.
I don't blame you for it. I would have done the exact same thing. Yeah, they didn't actually make another deal with Catalonia, though. Omniscius getting in with both of the expansion teams. They did send over to Rome on inactive deals Alexander Stovakovic and Jaume Vila, as well as they have acquired Brock Sherwood and Ronaldo de Silva on loan. So they now have 6 players already along to go with their manager. So they are again building out a pretty solid foundation for themselves.
So, yeah, and shared minds think alike in that moment. Oh, now for some Quebecois moments here. Further east, Montreal coming up, already pick coming in, and this Jersey Motor flew heading over to Montreal.
Yeah, they get, I believe, a first recreate of the SSL draft this season. Yoshimoto has recreated, Flu rather has recreated, and decided to go with a cam with, interestingly, a lot of crossing. So probably will be playing a lot more out wide in this case, but that's still quite an interesting deal to have to decide to go with a cam. And they did have a lot of struggles in attack, I felt, in Division 2 last season. And I feel like this is a good way to bolster that a fair bit. Moda has built out a little bit of a reputation for himself. And long shots, though, interestingly, one of his top strengths. So that will be perhaps something to keep an eye on for us who commentate over the matches is how often will he be trying those?
Quite a bit, and I will correct you there. He doesn't have any experience going out wide, but it tends to be the case that the attacking mids, the cams, do roam out quite a bit. So Motor crossing quite a bit, having the wide range division. I see him being quite a bit of a threat coming over to Montreal.
Well, that's interesting that you mentioned that, them trying to use more tactics to spread their central players out wide, and I suppose that can work with them. They do tend to play a couple of attacking midfielders in their standard formations, so I'll definitely try and fit Flu in somehow, and I feel like Moda can be a solid support player and even bag a few of his own as well.
Very much so. I also don't have to worry about a certain name Flu previously went by.
And that would be.
Do I have to say it?
I mean, if you're going to say it, you might as well say it.
Wonderful Papas.
Ah, yes, Ioannis Papastafopoulos.
You get to smile whilst I fumble with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Papastafopoulos was one of the best players in Division 2, basically was a golden ball winner and helped carry London into Division 1. But now he's transferred over to Montreal, so staying in Division 2 with his user.
That's
And
where you
now
got
we
arrested
have.
in London.
Oh, yeah, well, I mean, I had no responsibility for that. I
No,
promise. All
that
right,
was
pick 4 in.
hey, Big Four coming
And
in,
Soul
and
Mythic
yeah,
have
Storm.
gone with Manuel Neuer.
Oh, Neuer decided to leave Bayern Munich and make his name in the SSL. Quite a big approach coming over. Some say over to Seoul, and well, with 14 anticipation, 14 reflexes, and 14 aerial reach, he'll have a cat-like attitude to his shot stopping.
Yeah, I really like this selection. Seoul had a lot of struggles in net. They had to exchange basically platoon keepers with King Kong and Mason Volstead, if memory serves. And now they finally have a rock that they can plant in net and really rely on to make strong saves. I really like this pick for Seoul. They've made a very solid selection with this one. I mean, they do still have King Kong on the roster, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Neuer immediately take that starting job.
Yeah, get the young ones some all the reps they need. Can't wait to see for Manuel Neuer taking his talents over here. Has he ever tried kimchi?
Well, I guess there's only one way to find out.
Indeed.
That's if we ask him. But unfortunately, we don't have him on the line with us currently, though we will have a couple people on call with us to discuss selections and what they have opted with for this season. Now,
Indeed.
Montreal getting their first duplicate pick.
Hey, well, back to Montreal indeed. Alright then, so with Jersey Murder coming in, a cam for them, what should be the next target, you'd presume?
Well, I feel like they kind of again do have a lot of options they can go with. I feel like probably for me, I would go with the center back just because I feel like they have a lot of opportunities to uh, bolster themselves in defense. You know, Yves Mathieu and AJ Williams they had last season, and they were solid but not spectacular. And I feel like if they want to really try and improve on what they've had, that's probably what they want to go with. So I do think they might need that fourth defender just to bolster things up little bit more, as we do have a pick in, and they have opted for the defender,
Yep,
George
George
Fantabens.
Fantabens. A familiar face, I believe, coming over from SHL. Correct me if I am wrong. But yeah, Montreal locking down their defense. And, well, an area of threat at that as well. 14 jumping reach with a pace and positioning to go with him.
Yeah.
Fantabens looks like how would I describe it? Some aerial presence, dominating, has the pace to go with it. I would say Rio. Would you?
I'm honestly uncertain. I mean, if I had to think of anyone that kind of fit this mold, I would probably say someone like a Lauren Koscielny, but he's definitely got a lot of solid things that he needs to have as a center back, you know. It's not going to be someone that gets forward in attack, but again, they need the rock, and Fanta Benz just feels like he can not only be that just on general open play, but he feels like he will do very good in defending set pieces, your indirect free kicks, and your corners.
Yep. And sometimes that's all you really need. You just need that one rock. honestly, he'll probably be one of the more underappreciated roles within the game.
I'd have to agree. A lot of center backs don't really get the love that they deserve, but you know, it's a thankless job, and I'm sure Fantomans will be very happy to work it, even if he doesn't get as much appreciation as he would like.
But he'll get within the team.
Yep. So, the first 5 picks have already come and gone.
Yep. And just to recap, Henry Andrews heads over to Skull. Glenn Smart over to the Praetorians. Jersey Murder at 3 to the Fleur. Manuel Neuer coming up to the Mythic. And the Fleurs again picking up another draftee, this time Phantom Benz. Now it's AS Paris over at pick number 6.
Yeah, AS Party, a team that barely missed out on getting promotion into Division 1 rather, lost it on the final match day thanks to dropping a game to CA Buenos Aires. And while they did have Leonidas Papadopoulos as their main front man, and he is still on the roster, but they do kind of have anywhere they can go with this because they still do have a fairly solid core. I mean, Horvat, Bartlett, Brisky, all veteran players that still remain on the roster. And they currently have a roster size of 12, so whoever comes in will still have to really fight for a starting spot with what they've built out. So kind of a go anywhere pick depending on what they want here.
Yeah, that same roster player could be loaned out as well to get some valuable experience. Although, in my honest opinion, my mind is currently telling me that defense or midfield might be the go-to. Just as it is right now, it is a pick best overall player, best player you feel about.
Yeah,
And
well,
yeah, with Papadopoulos, who is easier to pronounce, being the Spartan that he is, well, never mind then. Heather Bull comes over to AS Paris, another striker.
okay. So I feel like this is very interesting what they decided to go with. They've decided Papadopoulos can't just be the one person at the front, and they need someone to basically be a backup and provide Papadopoulos with extra goal scoring, I suppose, burden. No, well, I guess it wouldn't be surprised giving him any more burden because, you know, they had so much of a reliance on him trying to score goals for them that they needed someone else to be a secondary option. And I feel like that's what they've gone with for Bull. Someone who can be strong in the air and placing corner kicks, which is something they immensely struggled with on that last match day where they had plenty of corners and weren't able to produce any goals. This is probably the replacement that they've decided to go with here with Heather Bull. Someone that has 12 jumping reach and 12 strength can get up and really challenge for those aerial deliveries in from Jay Brisky.
Yep. The tower to go with Papadopoulos' pace, and honestly, having one of these two to complement each other will be great. Although make sure that they have enough of a difference that you can exploit both their strengths. Because two similar types taking two striker roles is an interesting what's the word for it? An interesting conundrum, so to say.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's something that they'll have to solve in their own time, though. AS Paddy have got someone that they can solely rely on for uh, scoring goals, and of course, did win that Division 2 Golden Boot at a canter. But now they have another player that they can go to for those opportunities, and may not play the forward role entirely, but still can be very solid as we are now 10% of the way through the draft. Still 90% of the picks to go, so still a lot to wait on here as FC Kapstadt, the team that did get promoted, now get to pick 7th.
The Gap heading over to Division 1. First time they'll get to do it. I hope I'm right in saying this as well. And oh, just hearing some word as well on the previous pick. Asbury isn't planning to use Bull as a striker.
Okay. Wow. I mean, does have options at secondary positions, and they do have McAllister, who is considered a forward but doesn't really play the forward, more as the left attacking midfielder in that formation with Isabella Cortez on the other end. So I suppose that fits their mold and will likely be able to play in wherever Cortez or McAllister play.
That's going to be really interesting. I then, well, heading over back to South Africa. Caps, Capstad. Hmm. Well, they're going to need to strengthen up quite a bit, knowing that they're making the jump to Division One. It's just where they'll need to do it. That's going to be the interesting question for them.
Yeah, I mean, if it's me, I'm probably trying to go for a defender role. They do only have three on the roster and had to play Delia Kamavinga back frequently. They did run of course, the battering ram formation that was coined by one of the Cape Town staff members. They decided to basically have five at the front and ended up winning out of that one. But it's
Oh,
a very risky formation to play, and I don't think they'll be running it in the future unless they're in a must-win situation. And you do have a solid wing back, Janis Krustis. You have David Doug. You have Dexter Hall, but I think you need someone to support Doug here, and I reckon that's what they need to go with their next pick.
yeah, very much so. And yep, support they give. Claire Norris heading over to Capstad. That's 7. Another recruit coming in.
Yeah, 7 returning and has gone over to Karpstad, a very solid physical player, great acceleration and pace, and will very likely function as a support wingback as well with how they're doing. I really like this selection for them. It's again, I said they needed defenders, and that's exactly what they've been able to find with 7. And well, after a return after a long and lengthy absence, really.
I mean, 7 for the longest of times did have one of the best names.
Oh, this, yes, yeah.
One of the best names in football. I don't think you can even argue with me on that. Yep. Let me just get up.
Go on, give it to us.
Come on, it has to be here. I'm not going to give up finding it. And I will say this all because we'll rarely get to say this name again unless it's for trivia. Yep, a singular tub of Fazberry G Fuel Energy Formula, the official drink of esports.
Now, unsaid in that is free, all rights reserved. After the Phaseberry, the G Fuel, and the esports.
Let's
Yeah.
go. Also,
yeah, as we have been pointed out, 7 goes at pick 7.
Captain, you had to do this, didn't you? It just landed right in their lap. Oh dear. Well,
Yeah, well,
7. I know you didn't go 1 overall, but you did go at number 7. I think it just writes itself there. Just to note, I am also reading chat as well, so do comment what your thoughts are. Also what your thoughts on the players are, and if you think you should go high or low, or if I'm just a bad caster.
I think anyone here would think, oh yeah, I absolutely deserve to go higher than I do. So, yeah, um, that will be always something that is considered. Though now we go back to Seoul. They have who will likely be their starting keeper with Manuel Neuer. And again, options to go to here. They have a pretty deep bench, but they may have sent a few of their players out on loan. So, where do you think they might look for pick 8?
We'll pick 8 for the mythics. Some like so with the acquisition of Neuer as the goalkeeper, I'll be honest. I'll be honest. I think having another striker could work well for them. although they have casual in it's still a very young, rather young squad. So I thought it would work. They also are currently running with they're running with four defenders. But I think a forward would be the good option, or midfielder as well, to help with one of the ailing positions there.
Yeah, I don't think they actually have casual in their roster. The only forward that I see for them is Baraka Aloisi. They may have been able to receive casual on loan.
Oh no, I
Um,
am very much looking at. Okay, I'm looking at the wrong green team. I was looking at Montreal.
yeah, I was
Mon
about to say.
yeah.
Now, do I think that a forward could also be an option that they go with to support Baraka Aloisi? Absolutely.
Forward option is always nice, but yeah, have that midfield sorted. Very, very much a good thing to have. Oh, that's a dang it I had.
Yeah. So we do have the pick in.
Jingle to announce. And yep, Ivan Juricek coming over. Left side midfielder, Felix. And welcome
Yeah,
back.
I do believe, yeah. So another recreate. I did actually see a few people when I was looking through the mock draft predictions that were saying that Juricek could be a first overall player. So I feel like Seoul have absolutely made a steal here at 8 by getting Juricek.
Very much so. Solid user from my recollection of other Sims as well. I do believe that he'll be able to build Geotech to a very solid degree.
Yeah. And for whatever it's worth, because I apparently am unable to read and not see the transactions that go on, thanks to me just having a reading comprehension moment, if anything. They do have a variety of players that they do have. They do, of course, do have the Scarpetta brothers, Kazenga Lualua at keeper, Matt Letitia, who was recently acquired, Lachlan O'Rourke at the front. They
They,
definitely have their options, and I feel like they've built out a pretty solid roster, though
you're
there
looking
are
at
still
Reykjavik, aren't
question
you?
marks. I am looking at Reykjavik, yes. This was a correction that was being issued to me. I
Ah, yep.
apologize. That's why we're
That,
going over this now, because I don't really have any more thoughts on Juracek. It's a solid selection. It's a bit of a steal. He'll fit in well. That's about it.
and you'll also have Okosho who's coming, like Okosho who is loan dependent with Soul.
Ah, yeah. That's actually a really good mix there. To have Aloisi working with Juracek and Akocha, those three could be an absolute force to be reckoned with in attack, because both Juracek and Akocha, I feel like, have the ability to poach goals from any mistakes, and Aloisi can still be an absolute strike force.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. Oh, from we're heading back over to Romana, who is very quick with their pick, and Miro Schweinsteiger heading over. Andy, welcome ahoy!
Yeah, the pig farmer makes his way to the Praetorians. He's a very balanced player, I feel, in all facets of the game, though probably jack of all trades, master of none would be another way to describe it. But I do like what they've gone here. They've gone for another midfielder to try and bolster basically that forward defense. Of course, they did already have Brock Sherwood and Ronaldo da Silva that are in their on loan from Catalonia. So another solid addition to the squad. Very happy with that for them. You know, you add him in with Smart, who was their CDM, and now they get their CAM with Schweinsteiger. So they've done a very solid job of finding players that can basically act as their central ball players, and now they can fill out elsewhere.
Yeah, fill out a white, but have the spine ready, settled, and sorted. One thing for sure though, that whilst it's good to be an all-rounder, having that expertise would help massively as well. So I wouldn't be afraid of Schweinsteiger to go out, have that one thing you want to specialize in, talk with your mates in Romana, and boom. Well, next up, we have 2 picks heading over to Red Star Laos, our other expansion team.
Yeah, Laos had the second expansion team did have a lot of pick trades that they dealt in, so they've brought in a lot more. Of course, we did have that trade with the team of Reykjavik where they actually sent over pick 1, that was Henry Andrews, and pick 19 for a plethora of picks, and so they will have direct free kick and more rivers on their roster, as well as I believe I may have already traded those away as well, but they did get 7 picks in the deal, 6 of which you can see on screen now. They did get a season 8 selection from Cairo.
Season 8 selection would be very interesting for the future. Pretty much stack up right now, because you know your time will come later.
Yeah, that might have been what they've gone with. They did actually trade pick 14 as well back for another plethora of late picks, 17, 29, and 30. And I don't actually see picks 29 through 36 on our screen, though we do have a pick in now.
Yep.
They've gone with their first selection, and it's Furious Chicken.
Okay, that is a beautiful name.
80 grade.
Grade A roasted beauty with the sage on top of it to sprinkle Furious Chicken hot off his head from Hurling, Netherlands, heading over to Red Star Laos. And an aerial threat at that as well. 15 jumping reach, 14 finishing, 14 strength.
That is a very dangerous player. I mean, you want to talk about a player that can produce in different ways. I mean, I look at the physical attributes, and that's really where they have exceptional work. You know, still have 13 balance and 10 pace, which is shown here, but definitely a specialty in the air. 14 heading again. That would definitely fall into the strengths, but we don't see it here because we only do have a maximum of 3. But definitely could be be absolutely mad at the front to try and get more opportunities for Laos, and I feel like they've made a very solid selection here to get an early player that they feel could be a good producer of goals for the future.
All right off now. Red Hot, Red Star, and the Chicken very much receiving out to score some goals. Yes, I know I tried to make puns out of that.
I respect it. Well,
Do
I don't
you?
really respect it that much, but I respect it.
Do you really respect it?
Debatably. All right. Yes. Okay. So now we do have round 2 there. We did have that. So we can see all 16 selections there, and we see that they did actually have pick 33 and 27. So I'll need to double check what they decided to do as well. They may have flipped even more selections, which I mean, it's very interesting from both expansion teams as well as Reykjavik. They've engaged in a fair amount of wheeling and dealing to try and bolster their rosters.
Which honestly shouldn't be a bad thing to consider. Have your glut of players, and boom, it can come good. Well, next pick coming in for Red Star Laos, and that's Akil Adams. Gauge 2, right side attacking mid.
Yeah, Keel Adams wasn't really going to be projected in the top 5, but had several people going from in the top 10, and I'm inclined to agree with this. A very strong physical player, a strong technical player as well, decent speed as well, just pure attack though, really. And so perhaps we'll just be seeing pure play at the front, and Ol now has to think about where else they want to go with that. I mean, some do like to describe these kinds of players as pace merchants, so Akil Adams' 15 finishing might end up being a very solid scoring threat as well.
Yep. Also should note that he has 12 off the ball, 13 technique, and 13 first touch. So he definitely has some quick feet on him. to get past his opponents or get some very tricky balls in. So don't be surprised if he sneaks on getting in some beautiful assists.
Yeah, again though, some weakness though in that mental game. So I mean, that might just be part of what they have as the new player. They don't have players that will gel very well, but they will have players with a lot of individual skill by themselves. So it's all going to be a matter of making that work as a team, I reckon.
Yeah, it'll be a matter of making it work, but also be a case of just letting the player grow. Yes, let's let them have their standout moments, but also give them enough maturity time to fill out what they won't have, and they'll be able to become a more complete player.
Yes, now do have pick 12 for Adowa Accra. Accra, unfortunately, had been relegated thanks to dropping their last match day. So they will now have to contend in Division 2 and also contend without Kofi Archer. Has been dealt to Union Sao Paulo for 3 picks, 2 of which will occur in next year's draft, as they do have that. Well, didn't actually have that 23rd overall, but I'm not sure if that was processed. We'll have to wait and see on that. That was a very late deal that they sent out.
Yep, and rather shocking as well. Kofi Ansah was considered, if I remember right, the face of Accra. So to see him heading over elsewhere is, well, rather sobering in a way.
Yes, they do have their pick, and they've gone with Tamana Whittington.
Studio '05 defensive midfielder, having solid pace, solid strength, solid positioning, another rather solid build. Okay, I need to stop saying solid.
Well, I mean, sometimes that's all we can really describe it as. Tamana Whittington did have some projections going into the top 5 as well, and so I feel like Accra will be very content with being able to steal one here and get a player at pick 12.
Yeah,
And like you said, very well-rounded player. No real weaknesses aside from in the air, though probably won't be going up for many aerial contests as that defensive midfielder. So I feel like they've got themselves a nice ball-playing defensive midfielder that can also send it long to try and get their forwards some very good options. And they'll definitely be finding that, I think, when they get to see Tamana in action.
very much. I think Tamana will round out into a rather complete box-to-box midfielder as well. Box-to-box anchor who can turn into a just complete dynamo in midfield, having the marking to lock down players, as well as having a bit of passing on them and technique to get around those tricky moments.
I have to agree. And well, the Accra, they did have to go a bit of roster turnover. Perhaps this might be the feeling of replacing. But they do still have, very solid players in the back. They've got Malachi Black, who I believe will be acting as their manager for, yes, they will. Airless Snooks as well in defense. So they do end up getting a 7th midfielder on their team, though. I mean, they could easily play Whittington at the back as well and just try and have him as a centre back. Still wait and see on that, though, as uh, pick 13 is CA Buenos Aires. Has there been a trade?
Has there been a trade, and has Whittington already been moved to Reykjavik? I mean, I doubt Reykjavik can pick Whittington at 14 when Aqua was already picked, as well
Yeah.
as Buenos Aires.
Well, we are filling out on Buenos Aires, so perhaps this was a draft rights trade. But still, CA Buenos Aires was a team that was vying for promotion late on in Division 2 and ended up still shaping that as they did spoil AS Paddy's party. And why do Carver go with their pick? They do have a lot of options, and I feel like they might go towards the front myself due to them not really having seen Very good play out of Antonio Governo. I don't believe they've retained Aurelio Buendia. May have been a loan out. And so, oh no, they do still have Aureliano Buendia rather, but was playing them at the front late on in that season. Do they try and go for a forward that they can just run through, or where do they look for this one?
Well, they still have faking an injury around to help out a young forward for them. But having another one would not hurt for the pockets at all. And I think that was having another forward would probably be the best option. Don't be surprised if they pick midfield.
Yeah, well, I feel like they could just have someone that will allow them to play Edwin van der Sloot out wide. He seemed to have a lot of goal scoring opportunities when he was, but when he was playing back in that centre midfield role, didn't really see much play out in the front. And I feel like that might be what they need to do here to get Van der Sloot out wide and get him rolling is to find a solid central midfielder.
Uh, Yeah, I think another one would do them pretty well.
Yeah, inclined to
I
agree
do.
here. We do have the fix coming through here. We're working live with that. Thank you very much to our staff behind the scenes who are helping us out with this draft. They do an absolutely fantastic job.
By they, you mean one legendary person by the name of Candice, the ultimate Swede.
Listen, I would just like to think of this as rather not naming out individuals, but we do have our pick in, and it's Fata Dian. Another pick that might be considered a steal here is Fata Dian did have a projection of them going first overall. I was being
Yep.
seen as a very solid player, and who decided to go with a D mid.
Diane, Farah Diane. I like those names. It makes the things a whole lot more simple when knowing who is who. But yeah, Farah Diane, all rounder, pretty much. The only one that peaks is the 11 vision. Everything like many tens, nines, and eights that I think you can slot them in and just you can mold them however you want, which will be beautiful in their own way. Also capable of playing out wide as well on the right side, so even more versatile there.
Yeah, I mean, just kind of a plug and play wherever they need, and I do like that for Faraday, and a very capable player that can kind of be put anywhere on the pitch and kind of has everything going for them. Though, again, could be a potentially jack of all trades, master of none type deal where they don't really have anything they're excelling at, and so end up kind of cratering as a result. Though I don't really expect that out of Faraday, and I feel like with good enough physical attributes, they can still play the ball quite well and get it out of their defensive midfield and out to their support players out wide. And if they can set off Vandersloot that way, I feel like Buenos Aires already have got themselves a very solid foundation.
Indeed, indeed. And to be fair with Buenos Aires as well, they still have quite a lot of young players around. So, so I think that their growing capability is still one to really keep an eye on down in Division Two.
Yeah. Again, it could be just something that they grow upon with having a lot of development time in Division Two with Sierra Buenos Aires. But Juventus team was probably one of the teams to look forward to from last season. They might end up being the ones that go up over the top. But with that, we are more than 20% of the way through this draft. And has there really been any surprises from you thus far? Oh, we do have a trade.
Yes.
I think that one's a surprise. Early Snooks heading out on loan to Kawa City, who then trades the 15th overall pick and the season 8 Tokyo second.
Feels
I
like that
believe.
One of
Tokyo
the
second
first
rounder has.
one of the first draft trades that will happen. There is another one occurring as well right now for get the
Wow.
details of that one. Well, role is
14,
now Accra, Cairo.
14 and 15. both going at the same time. Well, turn it upside down, will you?
Well, you heard it here, ladies and gentlemen. If I remember right, the season 8 Tokyo second was that did that come in a trade in the sign-in trade for B Fine, was it?
That was the sign and trade for B Fine Powder Toastman.
Yeah. Well, the Toastman heading over to Tokyo in that deal. And yeah. Well, Aqua having the 15th overall. And if I remember right, we have another deal coming in for the 14th overall. Will we?
Yeah. Reykjavik are currently making that deal. We are just waiting to confirm the conditions of that trade, and we do have it here. It is the Season 8 into London first round pick going from Seoul Mythic to Reykjavik in exchange for the 14th overall pick that Reykjavik United had with Tokyo's first. This was the one that was actually flipped from Reykjavik, or from Laos rather. That was the Tokyo pick from Season 7 that was also flipped in that initial deal that got uh, Reykjavik the first overall pick.
Yep. I think that was Linear Nessie coming over initially to Reykjavik when they were the Wallabies.
Yeah, well, it just continues to flip back and forth, and now we'll finally get to see who it goes to, and it'll end up in the hands of Soul Mythic.
Yep. Oh gosh, my keyboard. No. Uh, Technical issues. Don't worry. It's already sorted. But yeah, no.
About to say, may have just had to hit the panic basket on that one, though. And now we do get to see how the picks have shaped out. I don't believe they've been flipped over yet on our draft board. That will be 14th overall going to Seoul. And 15th overall has gone to Cairo thanks to sending out Airless Snooks on loan. I feels like a bit of a steal, honestly, for Adoa Accra being able to have Airless Snooks as their solid player, and now gets more time at another squad, and I feel like they've kind of made a great deal for themselves.
I have to agree there. It feels a bit like a finesse there. Early Snook on loan makes makes it all the better knowing that he's going to get some valuable minutes, and then return even stronger. And then for a first, and then another pick as well, second.
Yeah, 2 picks for a season of Airless Snooks is definitely a deal.
I take that deal. You take that deal?
I'd take that deal 10 times out of 10.
Hell yeah! I'd say that's a fine deal indeed.
So we should hopefully be getting pick 14 back in soon. Do see that it is now in the hands of Soul Mythic after flip-flopping back and forth. And, well, we did talk earlier. They did get their goalkeeper, Manuel Neuer. They got a left midfielder, Ivan Juricek. Where do they go next?
Well, that's a good question. Heading back onto the Soul Mythic roster. I need to remember that Okocho is coming back, so I somewhat doubt that they'll go for a striker, and instead I think they'll head over back to midfield.
Yeah. Ella Snooks has made their comment saying, "I'm always worth it. Everyone wants a short stuff left-footed centre back."
We all love that short stuff left for the centre back. Also, Daniel Gunn in case you're looking for the mock roster, if I can help you out without being too much of a distraction, you head over to uncapped point tasks and head over to predictions. And yep, season 7 market draft will be there. Unless I'm too late, and then well, I never said anything.
I just forgot the last 30 seconds ever happened.
Yep, it never happened. No worries.
Well, it does seem like Seoul have had a lot of time to consider what their options have been. I mean, again, they are kind of lacking in general person power, I suppose, as they do only have 9 outfield players right now of a roster that I see. So,
Hmm.
I
Think it's
mean,
possible.
they did mention forward. Who would you go with if you had to pick a forward right now?
If I had to pick, I'll be honest. I'd be looking straight over a midfielder over forward. I'd be more.
Okay.
I'd be more interested in filling that out. Out of the remaining midfielders out on this Christopher Powell could be an
Yeah.
option. Yeah.
But Christopher Powell does kind of just play pure left side defense, wing back, and attacking midfielder. So I'm not sure if that will fit the same mold as they do Juracek, although Juracek is primarily a left midfielder, so could
Yeah,
also fit that role.
that's probably true there. Um, Jacob Rizzo is another option there. You can fill in both sides of attacking mid and the left mid as well. Oh,
Well, we do have our considerations. Let's see what they've gone with. And it
Christopher
is
Powell.
Christopher Powell. You called it.
Hey, first one was right. But yeah, left side midfielder. That's 15 passing, 12 pace, and oddly enough, 11 leadership.
Yeah, well, I mean, you want someone with a bit of a stronger mental game than perhaps you may see in other sections of this draft. They find someone that can definitely be that for them. You know, as a team that did struggle in Division Two, second to last, they probably need someone to be a bit more of a captain, and Powell could very well be that for them.
Yep, definitely a more supportive one as well. Powell having the passover scoring trait and having long range passes. Roger Busquets immediately comes to mind in terms of just the range of passing that they could pull off.
Yeah, definitely more options available to them with that, and having someone that can perhaps hoist them deep as well to get Baraka Aloisi forward. Definitely a solid selection for them.
I think this draft that Solo pulling are just to enable their forwards to such a extreme depth.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree on that. As now we do have the second deal that has shaked itself out. Adoa Accra, thanks to loaning out Elis Snooks to Cairo, now get their 15th overall selection.
Although Aqua is it their first pick in this draft?
No,
Yeah,
they took pick 12 with Whittington.
I am. Yeah. Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
So they do get Whittington as their CDM. Where do you think they'll look now to try and perhaps change things for the future?
Forward.
Forward?
Then, yeah, forward. Or midfield, if they're feeling that they want to keep to a one forward formation. Konstantin Selic is still on round and still growing rather strongly. But if they want to go into a two striker formation, that'll be nice. Actually, now I think about it, yeah, forward will still be very good for them. They have options, so it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, just have to wait and see, of course. And still a few players on there. We do have our pick in, and it is Tyler Swift. So someone that can attack.
Yeah, very much so. 13 acceleration, 13 off the ball, and yep, 12 pace. I almost said 13. Slip on my tongue if I did say that.
I didn't
But
catch it.
yep, and I've
Yeah,
done my job.
Excellent. Yeah, I do like this selection for Swift here. One of the earlier creates that we had. coming into this, and I really like what they decided to get with Taylor Swift. Is solid support player that can basically play anywhere on the edges of the midfield, though you'll primarily see them up the front. May also re-roll and a decently strong mental game by comparison and good physical attributes. I really like what they've gone with here for Swift, and I feel like he'll fit in quite well. I did actually think that Sol might have actually gone from a pick 14, so a solid selection, as we've said many a time. And Swift was projected fairly high, and actually was scheduled to, I believe, go a pick 14 under most mock drafts. So I feel like I've done a good job with that.
Bucket busted for quite a number. Although I think the bracket has been busted for everyone in this go around. We should have we should have like a 200 mil payout if someone gets the draft bracket completely right.
Yeah, well, I can tell you the furthest that anyone was actually able to go was pick 4, as we did have Andrew Smart Moda selected by 2 people, as far as I can tell, but they both went with Milo Schweinsteiger for pick 4, and that was Manuel Neuer.
They have to go another 5 picks for the other German. Ooh, what was the Volkswagen catchphrase or Audi? Durchsprung Technik.
That would be Audi's, and that is Wolfsprung Duck Technik.
Wolfsprung Technik did not come in clutch.
Yeah, unfortunately, my knowledge of German isn't as high as I would like it to be to really say that in another way, but nonetheless, we move on. As AS Romana, they've already made 2 selections. They got Smart and they got Schweinsteiger. I feel like they're building out a pretty decent roster and have not really made any picks that I would consider outright misses.
Neither would I. In their case, I do believe it's just building and building and building. So I don't think I will need to worry too much with them.
Yeah, I mean, as an expansion franchise, they would have a lot of difficulty trying to get themselves right off the ground early. Though I feel like with the picks that they've made thus far and also the trades that they've made thus far, they can already do that for themselves.
Yep, they can do damage. And again, the waiver line will be their best friend heading over into this off season.
Yeah, I mean, being as an expansion team, they will, I believe, get either 1 or 2 thanks to their expansion role in the Simulation Soccer League. And there's already a fair few players that have made their way onto the waiver wire.
Oh, very much a notable. I'm very sure they'll be looking their left right there now.
Yeah, I mean, they do have a goalkeeper Tyrone Clay on there right now. We've got Lachlan Martin, Nathan Bell, Joey Kelly as well, who might end up being a louse pickup for the Joey and Joey connection with Joey McCarty in net.
Hmm.
Yeah, even when the Australian teams leaves us, we somehow still have the Joeys.
What names do you have in Australia? I mean,
There's a lot of them.
let's see. So in our case in the UK, we'll have plenty of we have your Lukes and your Johns.
Yep. I would probably say that our most common names here would be the Jacks and the Sams.
Oh gosh, Jacks are everywhere.
Yeah. But perhaps they might be able to turn some of those Jacks into higher cards and perhaps get them into the Kings. Though, of course, we aren't at the Kings right now yet. We're at the Emperors, as Romana has made their Well, they haven't made a selection. They have traded down.
Okay, no, we're not going for emperors. We're going for Caesars, and this Praetorian Guard is backstabbing their pick. Yes, I'm gonna make many references there. They're dropping down 2 places with Cairo City, and they're gonna get a third out of it as well for season 8.
Wow, that's. I'm not sure on how I feel about that, but I mean, we'd probably see a few players voice their thoughts on this one. A third draft day trade. Wow, we have seen these more often than I would have ever thought. But only a season 8 third for moving up 2 spots. Perhaps Romana just think, okay, well, we're stuck between 3 choices right now. Let it play out and just trade down and get a little bit extra compensation for it. And let's see what the other teams opt to select for. Cairo did actually trade out of a pick in order to get Airless Snooks on loan, and now they trade back up in order to get 16th overall.
Hmm. Well, we now know now. Cairo City set in Jacob Rizzo, Dr. Scampi. And I believe I mentioned him earlier as well. Having, oh, wait, Simina Italia. Hey. Okay, my voice just went there. But no, Rizzo having 13 crossing, 13 dribbling, having some solid physicals as well. Pace, agility, and acceleration 13. Actually, they have a quite solid space to go off of.
Yeah, corner dribbling, first touch and decisions, also a 13 mark. So definitely found a bit of a plateau for them to put themselves in. And the Italian goes to Italy, and I feel like this is another solid pick for Cairo. Oh, sorry, no, they weren't going to Italy. They ended up being stolen from Italy. It's like Cleopatra. Anyway, yes, Dr. Scampi has gone over to Cairo, not Romana. Romana, I just traded away that selection, so might be a bit of harbored feelings towards Romana for trading out of him being selected at 16.
Yeah, I can tell of another one from the Italian peninsula who can tell their feelings. But still, Jacob Rizzo will remember this for Romana. And I don't think he'll mind too much with Cairo being in Division 1. He can expect to get some gameplay, probably out loan or to learn with the team, but still. Solid
Yeah.
base to go off of regardless.
Also, very interesting here. Jacob Rizzo was not projected in any of the first round selections.
Jeez. Everyone has been proven wrong.
Yeah, and given that this was Cairo's first selection, that's something to really consider. Is that perhaps no one really knew where they were going to go with. Thanks to them trading out, they were projected to pick as a Vader with a decent amount of predictions, but also the Cadbury Wellington and Nelly Selly potentially being ones that went over to them.
Oh, Wellington is already off the board, if I remember right. No,
I don't think so, no.
No, Cadbury Wellington is not. Someone pick up our mans. Actually, pick up all 3 of them. Come on. I know you have hearts in you, GMs.
Well, 80% of the way through the first round, and well, only 4 picks remain, 3 of which are, of course, the expansion teams. Well, technical expansion teams, as Reykjavik had, of course, renamed from Sydney City. So Laos Romana, Reykjavik, and Juniao Sao Paulo to come.
I was technically the four of the newest teams.
Like,
Yes, yeah, we'll go with that. But yeah, Red Star coming up next. And screw it. Give me a bit. I'm going to find a nickname for Red Star Laos. Red Star. Laos. Well, Laos is a country. don't think I can relate with Southeast Asia and Laos. Gosh damn, I'm actually not too sure. Hmm. So, do you think you can help me on this?
Absolutely not.
Ah,
Well, I mean, Red Star Laos does actually kind of share a name, funnily enough, with a real life club, but not quite. As another Red Star team would be Belgrade in the Serbian league. The SSL Laos are, well, just Laos. And I do actually have some former knowledge that Red Star Laos had actually started as a baseball franchise before they decided to delve into the realms of soccer. So,
it's sports.
yeah, it might just be like the teams of Europe that continue to build themselves out into other franchises. Of course, some might know Barcelona more as a basketball franchise than a football franchise, though it would shock me if that were the case.
Well, they also have an esports team as well.
It's true. They do have an esports team. I mean, they kind of just develop into everything, really, but most of these SSL squads just solely start out as soccer franchises, and I can't really think of any one other franchise that has done that.
It's probably a unique position, I'd say. And if it's not unique, well then, oh well. And looking back on who is available, though, who do you think Red Star Laos will be taken at this position?
Well, I mean, the obvious answer here is the outfield player because again, I feel like they have the security and net via McCarty, but they've built out such a wide roster that thanks to all of their insane deals that they've made, that they again can kind of go anywhere with what they want to do. Um, I would probably say they can look to their midfield though to see what they can make out of it. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, again, just with how many trades they've made, it's hard to keep track because they did make the 2 trades with Reykjavik, I believe, and have also made that draft day deal. Yeah, I feel like it has to kind of be midfield that they go with. They got direct free kick and they got Mar Rivers already into that squad, and they do have Furious Chicken and Akil Adams. So actually looking at this, it might be better to go for the defensive side of things here just because I don't really see anyone that can act as a player at the back, as we do have a pick in, and they have opted for a back and away with Jackson Parker.
They heard you right there. They heard you. Young Buck
Got there in
and
the end.
yeah, Paxton Parker, Young Buck heading over to Red Star Laos. 15 dribbling, 15 finishing. Am I reading that right?
That is not a typo.
Ooh. Very interesting build there. And I see why. They may have 20 wing back, but they also have 20 striker. Yeah, Jackson Parker is going to be a unicorn of a player.
Yeah,
Only
I
one,
don't.
yeah.
It's quite surprising to me that they basically decided to kind of spec into more finishing style, but also can play at the back as well at that wing back role. So that is an interesting selection. I feel like perhaps Joey McCarty has just put too much of his chips into attack and will have a very tough time being able to stop the goals, and that kind of falls on him as the keeper.
Well, I think well, the closest person I could probably think in regards to Jackson Parker would be Miguel Antonio. Well, a figure known as Miguel Antonio.
Right.
I don't think we can call him a real person in this league, but he's in our imaginations.
He's real in our hearts.
He's real in our hearts indeed.
All right, 3 picks remain in the first round, and AC Damana, who have built out quite a roster for themselves as well. they look now?
Oh, again, like Laos, they can just look anywhere they want, and it wouldn't even be a bad. It would just not be a bad pick at all. I think maybe since the midfield has been relatively sorted, they can look at striker. Odds on, I'm gonna presume they pick Cadbury Wellington.
That's probably where I would go as well, honestly. Feel like he is kind of the missing piece of a puzzle for them right now and one that they can connect up next. And they do end up going him. Let's see. Oh, they have gone with Derek Prince.
An unoriginal guy heading over to AC Romano, left side attacking mid. Oh, I think I'm curious as to why.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm sure we can try and get a hold of the AC Romano manager to try and see what his thoughts on it with Laser, who was managing that squad. And perhaps I just feel like it's a way to go, build out more of that midfield. They already have Smart and Schweinsteiger, Sherwood and De Silva. Perhaps they just want to run with 5 and could play some of those at the back or a couple at the front.
Indeed. Well then, I, in that case, I think the waiver wire is going to be rather. I wonder with the waiver wiring there now. Obviously, Romano's going to be very, very invested there, and so will Resto Laos. Having Prince around would, as well as the midfield, would mean that I doubt that AC Romano would need to really worry about midfield. They will be looking at their strikers, their defense, as well as wherever their GMs will be bringing in. And well, I think honestly, I think it'll be a decent go around there for Romano. But their Prince coming over, solid selection.
Yeah, well, I mean, they do have 2 forwards in the waiver wire already. They might just look to grab early on with Nathan Bell and George Murphy. So that might be where they look to. As now we pivot over to Reykjavik, who have already filled up their roster quite large. Could you see a trade out of this selection here?
I could, but then again, I mean, we have the mastermind himself in Cole G.
Not sure if you can hear us.
Sorry, I am tied up in trade negotiations as per usual. Chat a little later when things calm down.
Of course you are.
Understood. Yeah. Well, you mentioned I'll mention the trade down. Perhaps it's going to wheel and deal it.
What a man. I'm not surprised that he's in the trade talks. I think once all is said and done after the first round, I think we'll be reviewing just all the picks that have gone around and what that means for the teams involved. But for now, Reykjavik, as you heard in trade talks, I think them moving out is a smart idea, and it's just what would they manage to get out of it, or will they just go ahead and use a pick and just learn them out and grow their value regardless?
Yeah, well, they might try and get up there and waiver priority as well if they don't have that set for themselves already. I will just double check here to see if we do have an update. No, we don't have an update for them thus far yet, so we'll know what the Season 7 waiver order is in due time.
I think
I
it'll
don't think
come
we'll
this
be talking
draft.
about it. I don't think so. We'll have to wait and see on that one, though.
Hmm.
Likely will occur after the draft, I reckon.
Yes, the waiver wire will officially open tomorrow when and the order is the original draft order round,
Okay.
removing the compensatory. Look at the original draft order. Red Star Leos is AC Romana is second, Montreal, Seoul, Buenos Aires, Paris.
Thank you, Candidates. Yes. So, but they might end up dealing it to Laos just to get ahead of them in the waiver wire order.
Or deep chess play.
Could do
Nope.
that too.
Hey, 4D chess. Wait, okay, I never played 4D chess. I've only played just normal basic chess. I don't need to worry about thinking too much.
As someone who has tried to engage themselves in 5D chess with multiverse time travel, I understand.
Wait, have you seen my future then?
Well, I can't say I can predict that. Because the way the multiverse time travel works is that you bring in pieces from other games to basically play in one game, which then just creates branching paths. It's certainly something.
Basically, multiverse theory is stupid.
Yeah, well, life is simply unfair, don't you think?
Very much so. I mean, come on, life should have given me a much better life right now. I should be able to just relax, be on my bed asleep whilst I'm now having to commentate an with an Aussie who is a very nice guy.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Well, I believe thanks to the compensatory picks coming through, if memory serves, we do still have 16 plus 16 plus 16 plus 4. So 52 selections to come out of the 68 I believe we have. Fortunately, I don't have access to absolutely everything. Sorry, it's 18 plus 2. So yeah, we are, I believe, at least 25% of the way through this draft now. And so Saint, given that we are still waiting on Reykjavik, do you have a thoughts on the top quadrant of prospects that have been taken?
Well, first off, I think we'll go team by team. So for the teams that have not drafted, I'm sorry, you are now irrelevant to all this. You may sip your tea. But we'll start off with Red Star Laos, seeing as they won't have any more picks in this first round pick unless they trade. Furious Chicken, Furious Chicken, Jackson Parker, and Akil Adams heading over. So striker, an attacking mid, and a wingback that can also be a striker out of nowhere. I think for Red Star Laos, this is a decent pickup. If a bit random with just again nature of some players like Jackson Parker. As for Monreal, Jersey Motor, George Fantoband. Am I missing anyone? No, I'm
Oh.
not. But again, technical issues, which is not needed to be worried about. Oh, there we go. We got the pick in. Reykjavik sticking with their guy, and okay, it's some random guy called Dante Manonen.
I have no idea who this is. He's not in
He's
my
a-
list. He's not in my notes. Someone help me out here.
I'm sorry. I think words telling me right now that yeah, he is a complete scrub. He shouldn't be noted. I don't care about his one-on-ones. I don't care about his aerial reach. His command of area is in the minus. He is a donator. He gives out goals.
Wow. Oh, that's a questionable selection to be sure.
One of the worst selections in draft history. Welcome back to
That's argue.
Reykjavik, G.
Yes. G has come back to Reykjavik and has decided to bet on himself in a way, and Manone will now likely be the starting keeper for Reykjavik going forward. I don't. I'll have to double check to make sure, but I don't believe I actually had a keeper. Oh, but I do have Kazenga Lualua, so that might be a bit contentious there to see whether they go with Lualua or they go with Manone to try and run them through.
Or even run them both in a rotation. In a rotation. Well, you don't exactly
work.
do much.
Oh, G is actually swapping and will re-roll and will instead be playing at central midfielder.
Hey,
I
yo.
like that, man.
Ooh.
I did feel like they were kind of missing a bit of midfield spots. Lopter, Claflin, and Rivers were their only three players listed at midfield, and they'll probably have to play someone forward like direct free kick. So, yeah, I feel like this is a good respec for him.
He the master of position switches. Just to know, with his earlier player, Connor Azpilicueta, he switched over from centre back to become a centre forward.
Yeah, I mean, this does Declan Minutes filled out all four positions.
He has mastered the goalkeeping language. He has mastered the strike force. He has mastered the way of the defense. And now he has mastered the mid.
I'm not sure if I would have said it like that.
I mean, have some spice.
Yeah.
Oh, words coming in over from the Reykjavik press as they drafted Dante Manonin. Words in that he has looked over to Rashford and Biscuits.
Yeah, Miko Rashford and Budget Busquets, but trying to find a solid defensive midfielder build. Interesting.
Yeah, in a way, and that's in a way as well. Great people to have as role models. Biscuits, a rather fiery yet charismatic Catalan, and Rashford has been a ever-present rock, the centerpiece of the stars. I can see why you mold yourself after them, my dear Dante Manonin.
Yeah, absolutely makes sense to me. If you want to model yourself after anyone, model yourself after the best. We do have 3 Season 7 eligible players left and 5 older players left to draft. So
Yep.
that would take us, I believe, to pick 27.
It's about this time that you would see some passes. I think the question right now is, will we see a pass in the first round? I don't think we'll ever expect to see it, but you never know.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see for União Sao Paulo, who get their first selection of the draft now. Of course, they had been involved in some dealings just prior to the draft commencing.
Indeed. União Sao Paulo as well, being one of the teams that escaped relegation last season in D1, beating Aqua to keep their spot.
Yeah, so I mean, they did, of course, acquire Kofi Archer for free picks. That would mean that they do not have a first rounder for next season, but they did get that 23rd overall pick via Accra. That was originally Montreal's.
Think
Then they
about
also sent away Pascal Olivier for this pick, which is originally Rome's.
when you think about it, you relegate. What you managed to do is that you relegated one of your fierce rivals, and then you nicked their star player. That is some top tier violence, so to say.
I would go with S. Housery.
Yeah, that I would say that as well, but we have audience to placate that won't allow us to be very bad people.
Well, I mean, yes, of course. We do try and keep things PG. Let's keep it clean. It's a family show, etc., etc. Yeah. G took 10 minutes to draft himself. Well, that's a little bit of a clapback there, but that's been our most recent selection with Dante Manone, who will be moving to central midfielder, so won't be playing keeper.
They were not wrong.
Yeah, as we do have a final pick, and it is Cadbury Wellington, the last pick of the first round.
And you're gone. I hope you're still watching. Welcome to Sao Paulo. Hope you enjoy the samba there. Wait, do they do the samba in Brazil?
I'm pretty sure that is a Brazilian thing.
Enjoy the samba, the capoeira, and the Brazilian barbecue. 18 header, 15 jumping reach, 15 strength. The most extreme player golf I have ever seen. And I think that'll be rather awesome to have in terms of just having that aerial threat that can immediately insert themselves once they round out the rest of their attributes.
Yeah, I mean, starting out with 18 heading, imagine seeing that guy up in the corners. It will be such a difficult player to defend for those center backs on those set pieces. I really like this selection for them as just someone that can be an aerial threat for Sao Paulo. If they do choose to use him, of course, we'll still have to wait and see because we do have a lot more deals to come through. But Daniel Gung at 6 feet 6 inches tall. Oh, it's almost like trying to battle Peter Crouch. I said a nerve. I'm sorry.
Oh no, it didn't sound nerve, but at the same time, it was just. Oh damn! Oh no no no! If you're
Wow.
if you're from Trinidad and Tobago, I am very sorry for you.
Oh no. Well, that brings us to the conclusion to our first round. Saint, you mind giving us the rapid roster rundown?
I shall. Like first overall pick coming in was Henry Andrews over to Reykjavik. From second overall was AC Romagna's Glenn Smart. And then came Montreal United with Jersey Moda. Manuel Neuer retired from Bayern Munich to play for Seoul Mythics. And George Fantabenz coming over to Montreal United got picked over number 5. That is your top 5. AHB, Pip, Flu, some say, and Fantoben. Solid selections there. 2 attacking mids, a defensive mid, a defender, and a goalkeeper. Then came number 6, Heather Ball, your first striker off the board, Captain Cooper. Head over to become one of the French speakers. The Cap's dad, Claire Norris, 7, defender. 7, I think we need to have words again. And then number 8 comes over to Seoul. Ivan Juricek, Falex. You sweet son of a gun. Left side midfielder. Number 9 to the Praetorians, Miro Schweinsteiger. Miro Schweinsteiger. Yeah, I think I got it. Miro Schweinsteiger, Andy, attacking central mid. 10 and 11 to the Red Star Laos, Furious Chicken, striker. And Akio Adams, Gauge 2, attacking mid, right side. 12, Adora Aqua, Tamana Whittington.
You got that.
Yeah. Yep. Dulio 05, defensive mid. Another defensive mid over number 13 to the Suns. Buenos Aires, Faradian. Number 14 to Seoul again, Christopher Powell. Climps.
I go with clamps.
Clamps. We'll go with clamps. Yeah.
Yeah,
15.
I thought just a substitute for VA. Yes, go on.
Yeah. 15, Adora Aqua, Tyler Swift, Pifferfish, left side attacking mid. Another left side attacking mid, Dr. Scampies, Jacob Rizzo to hand over to the Pyramid Skyward City. Number 17, Vesta Laos, Jackson Parker, Young Buck, wingback, who can also play striker. The master of extremes. AC Romano's gets number 18 with Derek Prince, an unoriginal guy on the left side attacking mid. Number 19, Reykjavik's Danny Manonen, some unknown man from 2019, goalkeeper. And number 20, Uniel Sao Paulo, Cadbury Wellington, Daniel Gunn, striker. That rounds out your first round picks.
Yeah, well, 20 gone, and we now get into 21. Tony Swagger has gone to Laos.
The man with the big step, the absolute big stepper, Tony Swagger. Striker, all rounder, really. 10 acceleration, 10 agility, 10 balance. Tony Swagger? He
Yeah.
definitely has the traits of all abilities.
Yeah, a lot of plug and play, but primarily being at a forward spot. I'm intrigued by this selection. I'm not sure exactly where they're going to find usage for Swagger, though. It might just be part of the unavailability of the players left in the draft. So I have to wait and see if there'll be any more selections for them. I don't believe they're queued up in the final 6 picks, so could still end up receiving one thanks to the passes. But very interesting there to go with Swagger. We'll see how he fits in.
Just a note, I do think that, again, just fill out your roster, go through the waivers on what you don't have, and don't worry too much about it. You're watching these players grow as you become a bigger franchise or bigger name in the SSL.
Yeah. Do we have news?
Um, are they Project Saint and Sock? No news yet, but AC Romana is here to pick right now.
We're getting it immediately.
I don't know if it's immediately. This is a mail, and so no, it is immediately. Oh, Tyson King coming over. Toby Timms 69. Nice.
Yeah, okay, so another forward goes to the Praetorian Guards, and someone that has definitely got some specialty in the air with that 15 heading, but aside from that, really just specializes in the pace with the 10 acceleration and 10 agility, and likes to take the long shots and can also shoot from distance. A solid build.
Solid build all round with a penchant for the forehead goals. Also shoots with power and distance, so you can expect them to blaze knuckleballs right into the top shelf. Ooh. Tyson
Yeah,
King would be interesting.
Yeah, we'll have to see how he slots into their lineup.
Yeah. And also to note, there's another recreate as well.
I believe they were formerly known as Tim Sinclair.
Yep, they were Tim Sinclair.
All right. Well, welcome back, Tim. Perhaps a bit lower than they should have been at pick 22, though. I'll be curious to see where they go next. I don't believe I actually picked any mocks that may have been due to how late they came in, yes. And so likely weren't being considered as a result.
Likely the case. You can only come in so late until we have to stop. Also, is Tim Sinclair a goalie? Yes. But he was Hollywood's goalie, wasn't he?
He may have been. Unfortunately, as this is only my second full season coming into this, my depth of knowledge isn't as great as I'd like it to be.
In due time. You watch enough, follow what goes on, troll around. It comes here.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, we have our first pass, and that is Montreal passing in the second
Okay.
round.
Montreal feel content with Motor and Vantabend, and as such, pass on one of their received picks, I believe. They actually got this pick from a transaction.
Oh,
At least if memory serves me right. It might have been from somewhere else. I'll double check. So yeah, because that was a pick that was actually, according to my data here, sent from Adowa Accra over to, sorry, from União Sao Paulo over to Adowa Accra. So I'll need to double check that that was the case.
Hmm.
Just make sure that this is sent over to make sure that we do have that. But still, if that is the case, that pick 23 is passed. Pick 24 belongs to Inter London, the Division 2 champions of last season.
Into London finally on the board. Oh, this is where TVC. Wait, TVC's no. TVC's
EDC is no longer the manager; it is now Valpix.
Oh, Valpix coming in. So I'm just so used to TVC that Valpix now that TVC not being the manager kind of surprises me a bit.
Well, TVC left to become a part of the board of directors, is why.
Yeah, which is understandable. In that case, though, TVC voiceless, leaving it to Valpix to handle the load she made. Coming back after the season down, I think Valpix will have his hands, whilst busy, manageable and relaxed.
Yeah, worth noting that they, I believe, required this pick as well. This was the trade that they got with Matt Letitia. Of course, they had sent into London, had sent it over to the team now known as Reykjavik United in exchange for a Karpstad second round pick this draft, which I believe slots in here. Of course, he was signed. It was a sign and trade where a one season $7 million extension.
I would. That is some heavy money.
You're having a bit of tracking passes. Have a pick.
Okay, that would be into London.
Into London, yeah. That is your team as well, I should note.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
So I'm not really sure why the draft over other than actually owns.
Right. Okay. Well.
Try to fix the draft board.
All right. We'll leave you to that.
We have been placing the Genjutsu. And Matthew Edwards has been the one to cut us out of it. The world. Okay, sorry, I'm going to have to do it. Zavoto!
I'm just going to act like time just stopped there. Matthew Edwards, 20 balance for him, and 16 is. Look at the physical attributes of that. Oh. It would be enough to make an NFL coach be absolutely enamored with them. Playing as a right defender, so likely will slot into a wing-back position, and could also be a ball runner for them. I am a big fan of this pick for Seoul. They have found themselves a very solid option that can play back and is interesting as well because they were having an initial projection of second overall coming into this. I was only one person, but they were still considered to be overall a late first. So have to see on that as we'll let Canada sort out the draft board.
Just a note, they can play wing back on both sides.
Yeah, so could be an either side player. Something to look forward to, of course. We do, I believe, have a fix up there. Yep, Accra of ones that passed the Montreal selection. Soul Slit go with Edwards, and now 25 belongs to Buenos Aires. Into London will have 27 and 28, and Buenos Aires have elected to pass, and AS Paris have also elected to pass by the looks of things.
Yep. The passes are raining down right now. Aqua looking to just keep to the young core. Buenos Aires. I remember Buenos Aires has plenty of players themselves. I'm going to need to check. Yep. Having made their drafts, I don't think they can afford to pay for more. I likewise go for AS Paris. After making
Into London will not be making any selections. They will pass all of theirs, so it falls to Laos now at pick 29, and they may also make another selection at pick 30.
Laos with two more picks. Let's see if they'll pass or not.
I don't imagine that Joey McCarty likely would, because he still wants to try and get as many players as he possibly can to build out that roster, as you previously mentioned.
That is true. I've actually, now you say that, them picking would be the sensible option. Making sure that they have all the players they need. No need to worry about just being understaffed.
Yeah, so as far as I can tell, they might actually, just trying to do a quick count here. I'm not sure. They do have some other prospects that are still waiting there. Azevedo is still available. Clovis Payet is still available, and they have gone with the latter. Clovis Payet goes to Laos.
There's Pae, who is like Matthew Edwards, a season 6 pickup, coming over for another go around, and hailing from Paris. Pae should be rather utilizable. 11 work rate, 10 acceleration, 10 agility. Another master none but jack of all trades.
Yeah. Just solid all round, really.
Hmm.
Do see there, Clovis Payet has been added in and falls back to them for pick 30.
Yep. Laos is going to get another player, aren't they?
Very likely. I mean, I reckon if they pick now, they probably would. Of course, I'll need to double check to make sure that we have all of the older players available. Yep, they have gone with another one, and it is Azevedo. Well, I had both of them right. I just had them in for wrong order.
I
I'll
think you'll
take
be
that as a
fine.
win.
It's a win. Azevedo heading over to West Laos, Southie. I'm gonna have to wait. 20 finishing. I'm reading that right, am I?
You are reading that correct, yes. They do also play at striker and right attacking mid, so definitely a forward player that will be kind of option A, perhaps. Though with how stacked Red Star Laos are of a forward position, one has to think we'll probably see a few rerolls here for players that end up having to go into defense.
I think that would be of the right mind. I'm pretty sure GMs as well will be working to convince the players to allow for that. Just to note, you do get one free change after your first 2 seasons.
Yep. Myself, as I said, this would be my second full season. I will be making my change very soon, but that's myself. I should not be selfish on this broadcast. Into London will very likely pass this 31st pick, which would then send it to Tokyo, who had traded away their first rounder previously, and then got dealt around all over the shop and finally get their opportunity to select a pick 32.
Oh dear, oh dear. Well, for Tokyo, this will be an interesting case of where to go out, because whilst Tokyo has the legendary issue of goalies, outside of picking a goalie, I don't see many options in terms of keeping. So they could either trade out or just loan out the player to give them the time they need.
Oh, it looks like we have a full pass from everyone.
Oh,
If
yeah,
I do have that correct, Candidates.
confirmation.
We are at pick Athena.
Ah,
But
Tine. Okay.
considering the amount that are left in the draft, less one of the managers. Otherwise, I think just final and get back to you.
All
No
right,
problem.
then.
Thank you very much. Yeah. So I believe we had 27 players coming into this draft, 4 of whom were still eligible to be selected. I'll double check my count here. 15 on page 1, 23 on page 2. Yeah, I would have 25 selections here.
Mm.
Some may have
And
already been moved, in fact, so
yeah, curious as
would
well.
it
Are
mean
they
that
all
we have
passes?
everyone gone?
So it's all passes from here on out, is it?
We are still waiting on a T9 just to see if they will be selecting or if we will have one final pick for a 4th rounder.
Who shall be the last one to arrive? Who shall be known as the one that got away from everyone? Find out next time on SSL Sim. But honestly, if it is going to be a pass, which it more than certainly looks like, I think that this draft has been a rather eventful draft. If eventful by the teams that have just absolutely hoarded these drafts.
Yeah, I mean, Montreal have their two top 5 picks and used them quite well, in my opinion, grabbing Jersey Moda and George Fantabens. Those were, of course, the only 2 selections that they had. And from there on, it was kind of a lot of teams filling out what they felt like they needed. FC Carpshaw got Claire Norris, who will, I think, fit in very well into their system. And while we do have a pick, it looks like Soul Mythic have made one final selection and have gone with Don't Call Me Carson, Darren Speed.
That well, down speed lives up to his name: 15 acceleration, 14 pace, and 12 passing. I think this is a rather nice pickup from center mid as well. So I could see them running as a box to box.
Yeah, could definitely fit in well as a box-to-box midfielder, especially given the speed that they have. I am pretty big fan of this selection and very glad that Seoul were able to finally get the player, which I believe finishes off the driver's side from Big Noof, who I believe has already been selected. So that, I believe, finishes
Big
out all of our
Noof.
prospects.
Big new automatically.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
Not part.
Yeah.
Some of
There
the
you
other
go.
teams that haven't officially passed their wait 30 minutes just to get an official pass from them. So
Understood.
At that point,
calling it right now.
At that point, I would be asking that we all play Uno or Monopoly.
Would we rather be here till tomorrow with our Monopoly game?
Look, with Monopoly, we get to be absolute demons.
This is fair. Yeah, I was actually double checking. Yes, so that does actually mean that no one else can technically take a player. With the all of the players basically snapped up. Just double checking my count here. Yeah, the only player that was left was Dexter Manone, who automatically goes to Montreal as part of being a manager, which closes us out.
Yep. And honestly, thank you everyone for watching, for coming over as well. G, wait. First off, G, would you like to say any words?
Yeah, not to keep people here too long, but obviously super thrilled with how the draft turned out for us. Obviously, we take ABH 1 overall. That's been planned for some time. He's my GM in the ISFL. He is a max earner wherever he goes and just a fantastic human being. So super happy to trade up there and slam dunk that one. Yeah, again, had to take myself, despite it being a huge reach at 1908.
Scrub.
We'll be shifting. Yep, we'll be shifting to center mid. And thank you for alluding a bit to some of the moves we've made this offseason. We're super excited. Obviously, bringing in Lua between the sticks, bringing in Dom at right back. We brought in Master Sheep yesterday at center back. We have Legend up top at striker. Really working those sign and trades. So super excited to see what will happen in Reykjavik this year.
Hey. And you get this chance score anytime you go score, I believe. I think G has gone to the Shadow Realm. Well,
Well, perhaps
and
they just want to talk with their team and, celebrate what has been a very fantastic draft, in my opinion, and I'm sure in their opinion as well.
very
I
much
can't
so.
really fault any of their selections. And I honestly, looking through this, I kind of just have to look at this and think, yeah, they probably took best available at that point.
Oh yeah, 100% they did. They very much did. And yeah, combined with that, I think that whilst this draft has really been dominated by Romana, Montreal, Seoul, and Laos, I think all 4 teams have picked rather well for their needs. Romana and Laos coming into just for expansion and with a young core, whilst Montreal prepare for life. I was going to say without Okocha, but I think if I remember, Okocha is still with Okocha's still with Montreal.
Right.
So Montreal's preparing for his return.
That was the wrong
Yeah.
green team again.
Again!
Which is
Also,
at,
I'm not sure if we
Seoul.
went over this. Nelly Sully has actually gone over to Red Star Laos.
Yes, that was one of the passing the ball. Nelly Sully.
Oh,
Interesting. I
that,
mean, basically back up to Joey McCarty then.
yep.
McCarty wants to move himself out and have Sally be the next keeper. So have to wait and see on that one to see what McCarty tries to do. Maybe they try and get Sally to go over to an outfield role.
Oh, one thing for sure, Laos already making great use of the waiver wire. Yeah. Well then, I think we should all close this up, and yeah, I think this has been a very great draft, and I'm very much happy to be here. Sock, thank you very much for coming over, helping me out, and hopefully it's not too early for you.
Yeah, well, I got a full day ahead of me, so I suppose I should close out as well. Thank you for hosting this Canada's. Thank you for leading us through this, and it's been an absolute pleasure to be here. Thank you also for being on call with us, G, to talk with us through your mindset. It's been an absolutely wonderful time here, and I thank everyone for it.
Likewise as well. Thank you everyone for joining up. Everyone in chat, everyone in server, to everyone who's been drafted. Hope you enjoy yourself in your new locker rooms and bond well, fight well, even troll well. But most of all, have fun and welcome to the journey. Thank you very much for joining for our draft, and you take care. Arrivederci.